wrap up our hit list, we got the big unit, the big 9 that we had the encounter with during Velvet Weekend, and then I had 2 deer show up on a permission piece that my family's been very blessed and fortunate to be able to hunt for the past 20 or 25 years or so. It's the only time we've seen those 2 deer. That property sets up more as a rut property, so we're going to look forward to seeing what all comes rolling through there when we start getting those October cold fronts. is Monday, November 21st, and I guess you could say today is the official first day of my rut vacation. The school system that I work for allows us to have the entire week off at Thanksgiving, which is very nice and just happens to work out to my favorite time of the year here in Tennessee, and that's the rut for these white-tailed deer. Mick! This morning we had nearly perfect, ideal conditions. The low was around 20, 21. It had a nice frost on the ground. The wind was east to southeast, kind of blowing at my face, maybe over my shoulder, back over here towards the highway. We saw one deer before legal shooting light, not sure what it was. I'm guessing it's a small buck since it was by itself. We had a 4-point that kind of came out and worked for about 45 minutes or so out in the plot, bouncing back between eating the bush hog corn and some cereal rye and wheat. And I think he was kind of questioning that he was in the right spot, just like I was, because the past few hunts we've had all kinds of doe and fawns just all over the place over here on both sides of this plot. But for whatever reason, they haven't showed up yet this morning. I mean, they're here like clockwork. And so he kind of fed around and waited, and he finally worked back off in the timber. And so I kind of leaned back in the chair and was like, well, maybe today's not the day. And sure enough, as I'm lean back, I look up on the other side of this cut corn out here, and here comes a buck that we've had on camera. Not any daylight pictures, not a single daylight picture, but about an hour in the afternoon after daylight, we always catch him cutting across the tree line back over here to my right. And I guess he comes and checks these plots and then keeps on working. But I looked up and I was like, holy cow. And so, me being me, I wasn't set up in the right spot. I kind of had the chair in the middle of the blind where I could easily look out and see out of both the windows. And of course, he comes from over here on my left, but I really need to scoot over to my left. And the way I have the tripod set up, that I kind of have to go around it, and that way the camera can kind of swivel on the arm, either on this side of the window or over here on this side of the window. And so I get the camera on him, the camera's fine, and I have to move my chair. And as you can hear with this chair, if you move it the wrong way, that's the noise you get. But if you set it in it just right, it makes no noise. And of course, I was not sitting in it just right. And so I had to move it to my left. And you can see in the video, or you can hear it too, every time I tried to move that chair, he looked right at me. So finally, I get the chair in position. I don't have much time because I can't exactly remember. I've calmed down a little bit now, but I can't exactly remember
what time it was, but the sun rises in the east and kind of comes over. So there's about a 30-minute window out of this right window. Like you just can't see. You can't see through your scope. You can barely see just looking out the window. You gotta put your hand up. That's just kind of the downfall of this blind. So I knew if I was gonna get a shot, I had to get a shot off out of this window, or else he was gone. And honestly, like with rifle being open here in Tennessee now, we'll probably never see that deer again. So I just go for it. I pick the chair up, I move it all the way over, I get the gun on him, hit him with a good old man. He stops, kind of looks, and I just pulled the trigger. So, and the gun was right next to the camera. It had to be right next to the camera, so we can't really see the point of impact on the deer. He kind of ran off down the trail, so at least we know the direction he went. We've given it some time. I got a couple of doe and fawns out in the plot right now. I think I'm gonna pack up, ease out of here, and wait till about lunch, and that'll be about maybe give him about 4 hours or so, and just come back and look for blood and see what we got. Fingers crossed we were able to get it done. It'll definitely take away some stress and, you know, go back to relaxing and enjoying the outdoors. If we finally got a buck on the ground. So hopefully we'll find some blood and we'll bring you a blood trail.
Alright guys, here he is. He's pretty stiff, but man, what a buck. To kind of recap the morning, conditions were great. It was about 20, 21, 22 degrees or so this morning. Had a hard frost on the ground. This week, for whatever reason, at this place has been very special for my family. The week of Thanksgiving's always treated us well. For whatever reason, these larger mature bucks, we always get pictures of them at nighttime. We don't have a lot of property to work with here, but over the years we've really implemented food plots to keep a lot of doe around for this time of the year. I know not a lot of people agree with that or think they run the bucks off, but it seems what works the best for us out here at this property. So we plant the food and do all the work, all the sweat, all that stuff all summer long for opportunities like this right here. So this week, every year, for whatever reason, these bucks will start cruising through here and checking these plots, and they'll come and they'll bed right over here to my east. And sure enough, not even 30 yards from where I was standing this morning, here he was, and he was all set up right here back behind on this old fence post with some barbed wire. It's pretty cool. This deer, we have pictures of him at night. He would always come through at night and hit this plot and I guess work his way through here and head back that way, but I wasn't expecting to see this deer this morning. So sure enough, I was kind of shocked. I know he's all busted up, but man, the mass of this deer for Tennessee, like, you can't beat this. These G2s are blades and they are thick. His neck is pretty cool. You can see a bunch of scars all up in his neck where he's been fighting. I added it up whenever I went home and changed. I've hunted 39 different days since opening day of archery season, and some of those days are morning and afternoon hunts, so I could be well in the 50+ sits for a whitetail this year. And man, like I talked about it earlier, the properties I hunt, they don't hold deer. They're permission properties that back up to other hunters. We got guys that hunt right over here, we have guys that hunt right behind us, and you get one opportunity at these animals in this area and you got to take advantage of it. And I thought I had made a bad shot, but the entry's over here, and it's just it's probably lung over here, pretty good on this side as far as up and down, and then the exit's a little far back, so I'm thinking I got one lung and liver. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm happy to bring you this whitetail right here. He's definitely a monster in my books. I couldn't be more proud of him.